All right, now this much at least we know about these campaigns this year. They're going to set a record for spending, perhaps more than $10 billion. Just choke on that number. Every day we're going to hear about more ads from more groups spending more money. Karl Rove's Crossroads spending about $8 million in swing states alone here. Club for Growth, about $1.5 million on the Republican Senate primary just in the state of Texas. Pro-business U.S. Chamber of Commerce, they're buying ads in key Senate races, part of a $50 million election spending spree. I'm seeing Jessica rubbing her hands here saying this is terrific. Now we know the names of the groups doing the spending, and we know where they're spending from a geographical standpoint, and in time we'll probably learn what they're saying and who they're behind. But what we don't know is who's providing the money for all the spending. Well, thanks to Citizens United, the Supreme Court-backed ruling, those people never have to tell. And thanks to Senate Republicans, it's not going to change anytime soon. And Andrew, tell us more about what went down and went down again in the Senate today.
Well, it's called the Disclose Act, and it's designed to shed a little light where Citizens United has actually helped go dark. It would require the reporting of any person, group, or company that gives $10,000 to any other group for political campaigns. But the bill was filibustered in the Senate yesterday, losing 51 to 44, even though it had majority support. Not a single Republican senator voted in favor. Democrats brought the bill back for another vote today, and once again, every single Republican filibustered. Today's vote, 53 to 45. Again, got the majority, but not enough to get past the filibuster. That's despite Republicans traditionally supporting greater disclosure and transparency in elections and campaign finance. Critics say the GOP is just looking to hide its big money backers, but the Senate's top Republican says giving you more information could hurt the people giving them all that money.
This is nothing less than an effort by the government itself to expose its critics to harassment and intimidation, either by government authorities or through third-party allies, and that should concern every one of us.
I find this really offensive, not on the margins a little bit. If you want to give money, God bless you. I don't agree with Citizens United, but there it is. But at least have the decency and the scintilla of courage to say, yeah, I'm spending X million of dollars because I believe in this and I'm behind these ads and I'll either put my name on it, but I'll give the money to this. Why are people hiding in shadows here and we, the people, never have an idea? If I write a check to a candidate, it's public information. Why shouldn't we get the same amount from a company? Does anybody think this is a good idea?
Well, I think we should, but the problem with this bill is that it was completely partisan. It was stacked against corporations designed to favor labor unions who have been funneling millions and millions of dollars into campaigns for years. And you have one of the most vocal and independent voices of independent campaign finance reform voting against this bill, John McCain, author of McCain-Feingold Campaign Finance Reform, and even he said this is political gamesmanship. So I think if they were serious about campaign finance reform, they would come together and bring a bipartisan bill that affects everyone, disclosing everything.
Fair enough, but my only problem is I know if the AFL or the ATF, if they're giving money, I know they're giving money. It's not a secret. It's not like I have to guess who's behind it. Now I have to figure out if it's in some West Virginia Senate race, there's $20 million going into it, and all of a sudden the mining company, they're writing the big check because they want to make sure whatever is going to go on that no one's going to mess with them. There's a difference with the distinction.
Out of this, trade unions, other unions, they left them specifically out of this bill. So why couldn't they include everyone in it?
I think this is an example of these interests wanting to have their cake and eat it too. Let's take for a hypothetical example Walmart. Walmart certainly would want to be in a position to lobby for policies that are favorable to its business, but it doesn't want to risk losing customers by doing so. So it enables them to hide, get the policies they want without necessarily taking the hit at the cash register. There's a reason why groups like the NRA said, you know what, we're grading this vote as though it's a gun issues vote. There's nothing about guns in this vote. But it hurts their ability to raise money. So it's cutting off the lifeline, or potentially cutting off the lifeline for these groups and for these interest groups, and they don't want anybody to know it.
Well, I think transparency is a good thing overall, but this bill misses the mark, and I think it was right that it was filibustered.
I don't know. I just think it symbolizes everything that's wrong with the American political process. Americans are tired of this. This is why almost half the country doesn't vote. We've got to do something to change the impact of money, and now in particular money from corporations, where, you know, if let's say if I support a Democratic idea or a Republican idea, the corporation may not support something I vote. So why should I spend my money with this corporation?
And by the way, the unions weren't exempt. It's at any corporation, union, or for that matter, other organization paying for these messages would have to disclose expenditures of 10 grand or more.
Unions
Well,
get most of
then
their money from
not.
under 10 grand donors.
Okay, but my point is, you want to have a big ticket item, 10 grand or more? To me, I think that's where our greatest risk is. I just do. And I'm really worried what comes out of this, and maybe 4 years from now or 2 years from now, the Democrats will be doing it. Right now, it's the Republicans obviously favoring and getting the benefit of this. I'm just really worried that people are going to be making decisions and having even more influence than they have had, and that's been significant, and we will never be the wiser as a public. And to me, I think we're going to look back and regret this
Or
stuff.
you'll
I
find
really
out
do.
after the fact, like 6 months after the election, you'll find out, wait a minute, that's where that money was coming from?
You know, I
Do you
fight people when they
think
say politicians are bought and paid for, and I would say you guys do a disservice to public servants. It's getting closer and closer to being true.
Do you think it's fair that as a member of a union that your dues that you're automatically required to pay are funneled to campaign contributions that you have no say
At least
over?
as a union member, you have a vote, and you have
You don't. They're automatically deducted out of your paycheck.
Because your dues to the union are
Right,
deducted out of
and
your
that
paycheck.
money is
You
funneled
then
to
have a vote-
campaigns.
You then have a vote
But
within
Jessica,
the union as to how that money gets
why
spent.
are Republicans so concerned about the good well-being of union members? Why are Republicans so concerned about that now?
Because they've been funneling money to campaigns for years. The Democrats
Oh,
were
so in other
up in
words, they're not getting a
arms
piece-
over
they're not
citizens'
getting a piece
unions
of that
I gotta hit a
money.
break here,
leveled
but
the
we'll
playing
get to
field.
disagree even more. You'll be happy to know.